Hey, excited to chat. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing these days?
Yeah, sure. My name is Sav, based out of New York. I'm a consultant for a variety of different agencies on the strategy and the insight side. So I work with different agencies to help them with insights generation and coming up with not only content, but also strategy, audience development, media planning, etc. My background is in advertising for the last about 12 years or so. I was at Google for the first half and then at different agencies the last 12. So in the last few years, I've been sort of consulting exclusively with brands, their marketing teams, and large to small advertising agencies. To hyper focus on the micro in the last 24 months, I've been focused on integrating AI applications in the different agency teams. So, how does the ad agency world or marketing teams in general embrace and integrate and use AI in their practices? So, that's how I came across Mind Studio and super excited to have a no code LLM builder. A lot of the education on my own side from understanding about how LLMs work and about how to create AI workflows, bring them to my clients. It's been extremely helpful to have the information from your company. That's what I've been up to. So I've kind of built a different business unit called Enzo Labs. My consulting firm is called Enzo Partners. And I've already launched a few different of my clients in the pharmaceutical sector use RAG and some other technologies for using Mind Studio's platforms. So it's especially helpful to bring in new clients by attracting them, dangling the new carrot per se and by help of Mind Studio. So you've been a catalyst, I would say, in my business revenue so for this year.
Amazing. If we double click on some of these things, like generally, obviously, a bunch of these things I'm sure are, confidential, and meaning these are projects for other companies. But if there's anything you can tell us on, like, generally what these things are and how they work and things like that.
Absolutely, I'll be happy to. So traditionally, the way that agency structures are laid out in such a way that it takes from either collecting data, doing research, it takes multiple different teams, junior and mid-level people, to parse through a lot of PDFs, do online research using Google, put them into spreadsheets, and then create presentations to present to the senior department, right? It would take about an average time of, say, 2 weeks to 1 month for any project to even come to fruition. And then there would be different approval processes in the meantime. In the last few years, that time has shrunk considerably because one, because of shrinking client budgets. Number two is because there's been less focus on strategy and research, and more and more people are starting to use ChatGPT. But at the same time, you cannot really use ChatGPT for a lot of regulatory industries like pharmaceuticals, financials, etc. Once the whole no-code LLMs came out, my clients first asked us to build out a customized GPT for them. But then the challenge was that we were limited to OpenAI's capabilities. And so came Mind Studio a few months ago, which gave us the ability to kind of store all our clients' data, so hundreds and thousands of files, right? And to build out workflows that would help the research teams or the strategists, client services teams go in and type in a simple query and get the results back in a very, very short amount of time. And that would help shorten the time from doing the entire research part without compromising the integrity of the data, but also coming up to very quickly go and moving to a brainstorm phase, right? What it's done for us is like really created a really simple, streamlined workflow by almost transforming the entire research and strategy division and pulling it into AI. And again, very thankful for you and your creative geniuses to come up with such a program that has really helped us to continue our operations and actually pitch AI to our new clients. So right now we're in the process of onboarding a couple of new clients, but at the same time we're also finding new use cases for it because when you have a new client who is onboarded into the project or into the brand, the time it takes for in the past for a client on the marketing team or the research team, development team would take about 2 weeks for them to really understand thousands of PDFs or annotate the really important parts. And by the time they're done with getting up to date with all their scientific research, some new research might have come out. So what really Mind Studio and the RAG and like the data sources technology what has done is it's kind of gave us one an ability to they can quickly search through almost like Google and go through their own data sources, get a quick search out of it, one. And so it's very easy to onboard folks and you also use AI at the same time. So they're seeing the power and the benefits of business intelligence using personalized LLM systems. And number two is also like your latest integration with Perplexity also helps them actually build out storyboards. So because they are now plugged into real-time data. And so just watching a short 3-minute video by one of your teammates, we have built an actual user query with a chat system that the creative teams are not going in and they're using it for brainstorm purposes as well. And I'm excited to see our multimodal capabilities coming out on Thursday because that's my next ask for my clients is that how can we actually either come up with Dolly images, from creative briefs to help them inspire what used to be called the storyboarding process, right? In the creative agency world can be now used during AI. And or they can upload an image and they can cross-reference with a creative brief to see if the image is has a higher probability of meeting the standards of strategy. So that's what I've been up to. So helping onboard clients, number one, and also introducing it to a new set of clients.
And are you a developer? Are you a software developer?
No, I have no background in coding. I learned some PyTorch and Python, but the only reason I did that last year was because, strategy was completely being redefined. And so I had to figure out a way to stay in business. And that is by coding into the low code LLMs per se. But thankfully, with Mind Studio coming out, there's absolutely zero code required, but just to learn the workflows. So I can now be better suited at doing my marketing and my strategic activities rather than learning how to code Python or other JavaScript and CSS, etc.
And so your customers are always agencies themselves. So do you do any other type of clients or you strictly focus on agencies? Meaning having come from that background, you're obviously knowledgeable about where their issues lie and where automations and optimizations can happen. But
Well, I've been in the agency world myself for about 12 years, but especially in the data insights and strategy teams. So, which kind of gives me a better ability to understand their core challenges, but also how to automate some of the bottlenecks that they face on a daily basis. So, like right now, as a consultant, like my job is to help agencies bring them on board into the AI journey because pretty soon agencies may not even exist anymore. So, so basically, to stay in business, like I have to help them understand the limitations and also the use cases of AI. Number two is help them build these AI frameworks so then they can stay in business and bring their clients on board because agencies tend to be the gatekeeper for a lot of large or mid-level clients, especially in the regulatory sectors like finance or pharmaceuticals, healthcare, etc. And they're often the one of the last ones to adopt a new technology because they tend to be a little bit more guarded, you know, and defending their territories. That's why it kind of gives me some ability to harness some of the new technologies and bring it to their teams. And it also
yeah,
kind of helps integrate data insights and strategy together.
yeah. How much of the work you're doing is about sort of like process automation and how much of it is sort of about business intelligence? And obviously, especially in the world of AI, they're related, they're feedback loops, but
Sure, sure. I would say last year was my first AI client, to be honest with you, right? I mean, like until OpenAI released their platform to build these custom GPTs, and then came along Mind Studio, it sort of helped me sort of dive into this new business territory and open up new revenue streams. So until then, I was strictly focused on customer experience, personalization content, insights generation, pretty much doing everything manually until you can plug in all the different data so like hundreds of different files that converts into vector and search them with the easy like a simple like chatbot. So right now it's about 50% of AI integration, 50% business intelligence. The next layer is what I'm already getting asked about on POVs from different clients is the whole idea of automations. And
mm,
that's where most of my clients are interested in because they're reading the trades, they're reading the publishers, they're reading the blogs, and they basically want to know what's next for marketing agents. And there's a great big research that came out by A16Z last week that talks about how all of marketing will be automated. First, it would start with copilots, then it will go into an agenting system, and then the whole thing will be automated. So
mhm.
basically, I'm helping them sort of get ahead and plan and prepare better for the future.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really interesting. On one hand, I think when generative AI first showed up, a year and a half ago, again, my friends who own services businesses felt, sort of an existential threat of, hey, this thing is going to let our customers do things that we used to charge them money to do. And this is threatening to us, the service provider. But after they sort of got over that, they realized, oh, no, actually, we're in a perfect position to actually lean into this and embrace it and become optimized and become automated and be able to offer radically better service to our customers, faster, higher quality, cheaper, or maybe not cheaper, maybe even more expensive because it provides even greater ROI than the work we were doing before. So not necessarily there, but meaning can be used as an amazing tool. And I'm not sure if I'm surprised or not surprised, but like generally, I see that they've embraced it and they're all like leaning in and doing this. So like I think there's a majority of people that are running these services businesses are not playing defense, they're playing offense. They're showing up and they're saying, "Let's use these technologies." And
100%. I think that like a product like Mind Studio really comes into play because what you're really helping is you're helping take the service model and turn it into a product. And that's helping people like me build businesses around that because I think the service centric model has been antiquated. It's got a legacy and a traditional spoken wheel, like sort of pricing, which takes a lot of time, right? And it's expensive. And what you're really and helping is that to kind of by way of agencies, you're helping my clients to kind of embrace and basically win the tug of war with their own sort of obstacles about an understanding of AI while they're seeing that technologies like yourself can be commoditized, can be productized, and they're using it themselves, right? So it's not that their agency has built a product which is a black box and that they cannot touch. I'm actually helping my clients, the brand marketers, directly onboard it to Mind Studio, which I've embedded on my site or their sites, and that they can test on a regular basis.
absolutely. Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity for people who have experience in any job function in any industry that they understand what the challenges are of that job function. It's an opportunity for any of those, individuals to show up and say, I'm going to go to companies that have this job function and I'm going to offer to them the ability to like radically transform the way they operate, modernize it, automate things that no human should have ever had to do because they were boring and of little value. Ultimately important, new customer ingesting. Yes, super important. You got to get them onboarded. But boy, wouldn't it be better if you could just like streamline that so that it just happens? You can focus on all the other good high value stuff.
And to be absolutely honest with you, I was just doing research today for a client to produce a POV on the amount of human mistakes that because I'm testing on a new product that we're rolling out on Mind Studio for a new client for a new business pitch. So we're actually changing our new business processes to show what can be done in real time because there's no other AI agency out there that's currently doing it. So we have taken the whole new business process, showed the client that we have done from A to Z, research, pulled up a data query in real time using either some of your multimodal capabilities. And in terms of data that has showed the transformation, there's 377 RAG technologies that have been implemented into the marketing world. Like Klarna has converted the entire 70% into automation. So these are data sources that the clients are reading on a regular basis, whether it will be the agency or whether it be consultants like us, building their own, like I think large companies are kind of stuck trying to build their own LLMs, which is going to either take a long time or it's going to go through a lot of iterative processes and a lot of data errors, right? The amount of
Mhm.
time and human error that it takes for a junior person or a team of people to validate used to be about 3 weeks. That's the PRC, what we call in the pharma space, to get promotional committee review for an ad approved, for a banner ad approved. It used to be about a 1 month to 1.5 months time. With Mind Studios, either rack technology and actually having the access to the data points, right? Using your the chat feature, the Terminator block, where it turns into the data explorer, we can annotate research and go to the actual page of a 300-page document that has the latest information. So you're automatically cut off like almost 7 days worth of time and headache for to junior level people to cite and annotate the supporting document that would accompany the ad that would go to the PRC review.
Mhm.
These are just kind of technologies like that we're seeing is going to be extremely transformative. That's not just going to impact us in general, but also the clients in the bottom line.
Absolutely. Yeah, the ROI of these types of applications is hard to get your head around because they're like true automations. It's not 20% better. It's like 99% better, right? You basically solve the problem. So it feels like that more and more enterprises are realizing that this is a sort of a pivotal moment, right? Like other technological waves tend to come relatively slowly, right? Adoption of personal computers, like even mobile, whatever, cloud SaaS, etc. This thing is like a tsunami, right? So like big companies, small companies reaching out to us, reaching out to partners, wanting this work done. Are you seeing the same thing where there's just like so much demand?
Absolutely. And I think there's definitely a lot of demand. There's a lot of need for education and information as well. The clients who were afraid of technologies like this in the past are now actually coming and sort of trying to embrace it. We are seeing a lot of resurgence in terms of interest level and but also foundational teams who were, were limited to or were fearful of such technology are now almost coming back. Like not everybody is a developer or knows how to code on RAG, or they don't even know what RAG is. But I think that for the need for a technology like, for example, Mind Studio is just so relevant because, it's like they just a little thing that they read on a blog, or just like the idea of knowing that there's an option out there that they don't have to hire a team of coders to automate their work, that they can keep their jobs and meet their bottom line at the same time, is creating this whole level of new demand. So right now we're just seeing marketing. We're only servicing marketing in general, or data science, insights. Pretty soon, I'm like sure that we're going to start seeing media, right? Like Perplexity already has access to Google. So
Mhm,
you already have competitive research coming in. You have ability to create diagrams. The multimodal feature you're building in gives us a better ability to kind of create real-time images,
mhm,
or even cross-reference images with the data and the insights to correct the image with the text.
mhm.
So I would love to, harness the idea of all of it, because I think that's where the future is. And I think as a responsible agency person or consultant myself, it's my job to kind of shepherd my clients into that direction.
Last month, again, we got a bunch of inbound demand from different types of organizations, and I got an email from a 150-year-old, super conservative media company that said, "Look, we're actually not known to be early adopters of technology at all. We're slow, but in this case, we're going to take the lead, and so like we're all in on this. We'll have Mind Studio. Can we hire an agency? Can we hire some integrators to help us get there faster?" But yeah, again, it seems like whether the organizations are traditionally tech optimists and early adopters or late adopters, that they all seem to be realizing right now that now is the time to do it, which again totally makes sense. Um,
Yeah, and it's our job to make sure that they're doing it safely, that the data is safe, like make sure that they are following the right compliance, make sure that they have a workspace set up.
yeah,
And I
they
think
need
that
help. They need professional help, like in any other integration. They can do it themselves, but they themselves realize that they need help. They're asking for it. Again, there's actually at this moment, we've got over 130 partners now that have shown up. But there's still like a bottleneck of integrators as to the demand that exists already, and that's only building. And so it's like this crazy time that if anybody, shows up and says, "Hey, I understand how to build AI applications," or even better, I like you are, which is I understand how your business operates and I know how to build AI applications. Well, wow, like that is like the most in demand skill needed now.
no, absolutely. And I think that like one of the benefits of, and I know I keep talking about how amazing my studio is, and I'll tell you why with one reason, is that because OpenAI has not created an ecosystem or a platform for smaller agencies or consultants. Google did that, Facebook did that with their open APIs, with their layers of creative agencies jumping onto Google, having all these Google ads and Google marketing platform. But Google has automated all of that. So clients, actually small businesses or medium-sized businesses, don't actually need consultants or agencies. They can go to the platform and upload the ads themselves or use AI to do them. Facebook had, when they first opened up their platform, you had creative agencies doing little ads for Coca-Cola, doing media buys. When OpenAI came out, or Anthropic, they didn't create an ecosystem of agencies or
Mhm.
partners. I think Mind Studio is probably the first one that has actually given me the confidence to say that, like, hey, there is a platform out there that we can use all these different technologies on, test it and safely, make sure your data is safe, and help you get to the next horizon.
Mhm. Yeah, we haven't announced it yet, but I'll announce it here with you. We just hired, it's her second day today, a head of channel partnerships that, came from Grammarly. Most recently, before that, she was at Zapier, running partnerships. And before that, she was at Shopify. So brilliant. Her name is Danielle. And so, yeah, we're really leaning into the partner channel as being the best way, again, because this is really what the enterprises need. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, so there's like lots of, again, of these enterprises thinking about doing this. Do you have any general advice for folks if some random company showed up and said, "Hey, I hear you do some AI stuff for agencies, and do you have any advice for me?" Do you have any advice for folks?
I would say start with the strategy first, with a plan first, right? And again, like, I go back to the educational videos that you produce, like having the series of 10 videos in series one. Start with a simple canvas. Like, this is the business goal I need to accomplish. This is what my hurdles are. Every single time I present an AI plan to my client, I have to talk about the data, right? We're solving this problem. This is our business challenge. X amount of time can be solved by achieving productivity, which equates to X amount of hours. So there is a statistic involved. So, like, I think a lot of businesses just straight want to be like, okay, like, what is my AI strategy? I don't think it works like that. I think they need to have, okay, so which part of my business do I automate? What is my plan to get there from A to B? And I think that having a guide in that journey, I think, is really, really important. And of course, I would say, yes, I mean, hire somebody like me or like a consultant. But I think that people who are sort of having the strategic and a consulting background, but also has some idea about solving business problems, kind of helps companies sort of plan this a little bit better.
Mhm. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Thanks so much for taking the time to chat. I've been wanting to, we've been connected on LinkedIn and I've seen some of your posts and the stuff you're doing. So I was super excited to double click on some of it and learn more. Have an awesome day.
Thank you so much, Dimitri.